over in Saudi Arabia. Joining us now, good friend of mine, Joshua Caird. Is that correct, the pronunciation?
Spot on, mate. Spot on. Great to see you. How are we doing?
Good to see you, my friend. Good to see you. You're in Saudi. What part of Saudi are you in?
So I'm in the northwest of Saudi Arabia in a new region called Neom. It's a beautiful location up here. Tropical this time of year. You know, it's cold in the evenings, warm during the day. It's just perfect.
Is it a brand new city?
It's a good question. So Neom is a new development. We can't speak much about it, but it's a new giga project. It's happening in Saudi Arabia, and I'm here to develop adventure sports within that region. It's an area the size of Belgium, roughly.
Right.
So it's absolutely incredible. I mean, we have 300 kilometers of coastline with beautiful. I'll leave that there.
There you go, you're back. I've got you.
Oh.
Yeah, you just froze for a second. So, Josh, I've known you for, God, it must be over 20 years. Back in the days up in, I think we first met up at, what was the name of the drop? St Andrews. Was it St Andrews Drop Zone?
I think that you met Ali Milne at Scardiv St Andrews, but I was the year later. I think that we missed each other, and our first connection was Scardiv and Paria Brava.
We have connected many times throughout the last couple of decades as well. I've always admired you, Josh. You always seem to make the good moves. You know, you've always got the whenever I see what you're doing next, I think, wow, yeah, he's moving on really well. He's racking up through the books. And here's one I love on your Instagram bio. I was reading that, an adventurer and an escapist. I love that word.
I've been very lucky. I've been very lucky over the years to always land on a project that's, you know, very thrilling, challenging, exciting. I mean, it's took me to new places around the world. I don't know how that happens. You could say it's luck, fate, or the people that you meet on the journey. But yeah, it's been an incredible ride. But yes, an escapist. Running away from my roots as a child in Scotland. Originally, I was a gas heating engineer, so I think the original escapist comes from that, running away from the engineer in me to live the good life.
I can feel that, absolutely. I know exactly where you're coming from with that. I really, really do. And a lot of other people in air sports do as well. Our production team, especially my director and editor, Chris, when we do the interview and he puts the interview photograph with the tagline, your name and your air sport, I don't know what he's going to do for you because you started as a skydiver, but you've been through a lot of air sports, paragliding a lot recently. I've seen a lot of base jumping from you.
Yes, I'm a mixed bag, so I'm not professional at any one thing. I'm just amateur at everything. So no, at the moment I am skydiving currently, base jumping, paramotoring a lot, kite surfing loads here. It's just all the fun sports. Still enjoying it. Still love learning. I just learned kite surfing last year, and that's incredible. It's a great sport to learn. Just year on year, it just gets more exciting. There's more sports out there, and like a lot of the sports that we're into, it doesn't matter how long you're in it. You're always leveling up, and you're always learning something new. So it's all an adventure. Yeah, it's good fun.
That was quite an interesting base jump, the one you posted the other day. That looked quite low. Wasn't too high, that one.
So there's incredible spots here in Neom to base jump. Never been jumped before, so where we are is largely untouched by man. There's no one living here. There's very little civilization. But over the years, I think it goes back 3 or 4 different civilizations, pre-Arabic, pre-Islam, and it goes all the way back. It's an ancient land. Yeah. But when you go and discover it and you're adventuring out in the desert, it's a forgotten world. So it's an incredible place to base jump. I'm hoping that I can invite more of my friends out here to base jump, but I mean, just for that one jump, it's around a 2-hour drive and then an hour off-road through the desert, and then you have to free climb or scramble up the rocks, set up. Always make sure I've got a sat phone, so I always have a satellite phone to my head office. But it's adventurous. It's incredible.
You're quite possibly putting your feet where no human has put their feet before it.
Well, it's interesting you should say that. You feel that when you're out there. Yeah. You feel a bit Indiana Jones. You feel like you're pioneering. But You know, it's an incredible location. You would love it, because I know that me and you have had so many conversations about our history. There's so much history in that area that, like I said, it dates back so many civilizations, that you're climbing up this rock feature that's never been climbed before. You know, it's in the middle of a sand tower desert. You know, there's sand towers everywhere, 200 meters, 300 meters. You have to find them, you scramble up, you go around the corner, you know, you can't find a route. A few hours later, you eventually find a route up. When you get to the top, and there's a petroglyph on the rock. So there's rock carvings of incredible animals, and, you know, that dates back thousands of years. So the history that you're on it. So for me, even when I do one base jump, it takes a whole day, but the journey around it's incredible. It's almost like Indiana Jones base jumping. It's really good fun. Really
it makes me feel of like the first people to land on Mars. You know, it gives me chills thinking about it.
That's what it's like. It's no words that can describe it. I'm really looking forward to first inviting people here, hopefully at the end of this year, and then opening it up as Neon begins to expand. But it really is an incredible location. I mean, pioneering. No man has set foot there. Well, no man in, say, this century, the century before has, but it's stunning. It's, the petroglyphs. You'd have to come and see the petroglyphs. They're everywhere. And they're animals that have been extinct for maybe 1,000 years, 2,000 years. It really is. It's incredible.
Wow. I was talking a bit with Tim Howell, one of the interviews last year, about new sites for base jumps. Can you talk through a little bit about, I'm not a base jumper, about how you open a site, how you decide that's going to be usable, and how you find out if it's usable? What's the process you go through?
It's a good question. I mean, people more experienced than me could probably answer it better, but for me, for some reason, in the last 2 years, I've opened up quite a lot of base jumps in Scotland and in Saudi Arabia. And for me, it's first, you find the object that you want to jump. You see it, it looks jumpable, and you do a lot of study into it. And then for me, what saved my life is getting a laser. So getting a laser that I can go up. So I hike it, I try and find the exit, and then what I'll do is I'll laser it over and over to make sure it's the right height, to make sure it's jumpable.
So you're firing the beam directly down?
So there's two ways of doing it. You can fire the beam directly down from the exit point to get a reading, or the laser I've got, you can stand back and laser the top and laser the bottom, and it does a really smart calculation and figures out the height for you.
Oh, wow.
But,
So that would be, from the ground you would do that? You would...
From the ground. So I'm not gonna try and pronounce what the mathematical term is.
Right.
Trigonometry, would that be right?
The Pythagoras theorem? Is it the triangle?
That sounds superb.
There's people watching this now, maths studies, like, no, they're shouting the answer. They know what it is.
Basically, it takes two readings. It shoots the top and shoots the bottom and makes the calculation in the middle. But it's an incredible piece of kit. Before I had that piece of kit, I would rock drop. So I'd do the traditional rock drop and then make the calculation based on that. But I'm a very conservative base jumper, so I've always been on the very conservative end of the jumps that I choose to do. And even when I'm jumping here, it's very conservative. I've checked the location many times, thought about it, and really spent my time on the ground doing my research. It's great fun. The reward you get from that, it's opening new spots, is something very, very unique. You find it, you tag it, you measure it, you jump it. There's a huge thrill there. I think I posted in one of my jumps in Scotland. It's an amazing feeling to be the first person to step over that edge.
Yes. Was that on the beach? Was that a beach landing?
That was in my hometown. So that was my hometown in Arbroath.
Yeah.
There was a really nice 70-meter cliff, and had never been jumped before. There's something very unique about that cliff being there for thousands of years or millions of years, and then being the first person to step over it. It's that's the pioneering spirit in us. It's an adventure. It really is quite unique.
I remember being in Ampura Brava in the hangar, looking out. We weren't jumping for some reason, and seeing that ridgeline behind Roses there. Not a mountain, but a hill, the ridgeline. And I used to always think, I wonder how many years that shape has been that shape. How far back, how many thousands of years, how many hundreds of thousands of years, until it actually looks different. The history of nature is incredible, isn't it?
It's absolutely incredible. It's something that I'd love to find more out about here is do geology and really study kind of rock formations. Ewan Cowie, shout out to Ewan Cowie.
Yes.
He was a geologist back in the day.
Was he?
Yes, he studied in university before he went full time and bit the bullet and went skydiving.
Right.
So yeah, maybe I'll fly him out here and he can tell us about it. But yeah, it's incredible.
I've got him on the list for interviews. He'll be coming up at some point.
He's a top man. His career is absolutely incredible. What he's achieved is just, in his work and his photography is just incredible.
Beautiful stuff. So let's go back. Arbroath, gas engineer, corgis.
That's us.
When did you decide you wanted to jump out of a plane? Was it something over a period of time, or was it a spur of the moment thing? What happened?
So for me, it started very, very young. In Arbroath, we have sea cliffs. We were jumping off the rocks into the ocean when we were young, maybe between 13, 14, 15. And gradually we got higher and higher and pushed the boundaries. And me and a few friends were jumping 30, 35 meters into the water.
Wow.
Which now people base jump that, which is it's crazy. But the natural progression from there is we couldn't go any higher. So I actually, back in the day when I think YouTube had just started, I found a video of someone base jumping in Norway and decided that's what I wanted to do. How do I do that? You got to go skydiving. Went to Skydive St Andrews in 2005, done my tandem, 16. And then I met an instructor at the drop zone called Darren. He says, you want to do your AFF, go to Imperia Brava. I said, okay, booked a trip to Imperia Brava. It just so happened the website that I went to was Richie Pim's website.
Yes.
And ended up in Imperia Brava getting looked after by Richie Pim, and the rest is history. I mean, it was always a drive for me to push myself to the limit. If I was, on my BMX, or my mountain bike, or climbing, or even cliff jumping for that matter, it was always pushing it to the extreme.
Skateboarding as well. You were big into skateboarding back in the day.
Big into skateboarding, yeah. So whatever I was doing, I would give it my all.
Right.
Very practical. I love to just be, practical in sports, and just find my niche and excelled.
What was the mountain biking? Were you just doing that for fun, or were you doing any kind of competitive stuff, or what were you doing there?
I used to BMX a lot, and back in the day we used to make a lot of trails. That was big when I was younger. Going out to a farmland or an old forest land and making tracks and trails, or breaking into old warehouses, old factories, and making skate parks.
Wow.
So yeah, it was more for the fun of it, and even now, I've never been competitive in my career, where a lot of skydivers or competitive athletes will become very competitive. I know you were. It was never really my thing. I was always in the moment and enjoyed it rather than competing.
That's fantastic. You've always done it for yourself, haven't you? Whichever sport it is. That's
always.
Really quite interesting.
Even now, I mean, I have obviously I work very long hours in NEOM, and I just changed up my shirt, so I look very different when I'm in the office. But even now on the weekend, if I can go out kite surfing for 4 or 5 hours, or go out on a base jumping trip, that's your time, that's your escape, that's your escapism. That is your, that's your Tai Chi, or your calling.
Yeah. And with the pandemic, it's not affected you there at all? You've had no restriction from it, or not?
What was that, sorry?
With the pandemic, the COVID-19?
Yeah, it's been a difficult year. Before 2019, I travelled a lot with the company, would meet suppliers all around the world, adventure sports, different companies, went to, lots of different events, expos. And then 2020 came, and we grounded to a halt, where we didn't travel much, and we locked ourselves down where we are currently living, and just got on with the work. I mean, we continued to work, we continued to thrive. We just like you adapt. You try new things. The strategy doesn't work now. We change the strategy in a different direction. You find your way around. Yeah. I mean, I've watched you the last year. I mean, I don't know if you've done it before, but COVID's made you an incredible painter, and COVID's made you diversify into making this incredible channel. So it really is just finding that way. And last year was all about in the company was just finding out how to change the strategy and kind of overcome the world shutdown. Difficult year for everyone. I mean, it was a difficult year.
Do you think being involved in aviation, we are more adaptable to quick change? Because you get malfunctions and you get things which stop, and then the weather stops you. You have to do something else. Do you think we're easily conditioned to change it up and to do something different quickly because we're in aviation? I feel like we might be.
I like that. I think there's a good point there. I think there's a definitely something in there that makes us adapt and overcome. and challenge a new situation in a different way. You know, if you can't, you know, if your skydiving doesn't go well and you have to save your life and you've got to adapt and overcome and go a different direction, then yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah, we don't seem to spend that much time complaining about it, but things have changed a lot for sure. So you started jumping to be a base jumper. Base jumping was your first idea. I didn't know that. That's good information. That's good to know. So when did you do your first base jump? How did that start?
Here's a funny story. So
was it with Frank?
It was with Frank.
So,
Mr. LePoule. So I started skydiving in 2006. I'd moved to Imperia Brava by 2008, and I was full time on the drop zone working as a packer, with the goal of getting as many jumps as I could. By this point, I was quite distracted by base jumping. It wasn't really on my radar because I just fell in love with skydiving. I was free flying a lot. I was really enjoying myself, and then the opportunity came up at around 200 jumps to do a base jump. So I went with a mentor, like you did back then, and trained at the drop zone, learned to pack. And Frank took us to the bridge in France, and we done 2 jumps, and that was kind of my introduction into the sport. And for some reason, I didn't jump after that. I didn't base jump after that for maybe 2 or 3 years. It was a big gap.
Why do you think that is?
I just loved skydiving. I went back to skydiving. I felt comfortable. I think there was something in me that once I'd done a few base jumps, it was great and I enjoyed it. But I clearly didn't know. I clearly understood that I wasn't experienced enough.
Right.
To go out and jump. And there was a few friends around the time at the drop zone that had a few accidents, and that put me off a little bit. And I just funneled all my energy. Remember what skydiving Imperia Brava was like back in the day? It was just incredible. Yeah. I mean, you spent 18 hours at that place, you know, between arriving for work, working 14 hours in the summer, and then drinking at the bar all night. It was just the life. You didn't need anything else. You didn't, like, there was a bubble over Imperia. You didn't need anything else outside. It was just incredible.
I remember, people who don't know the place, it's a little marina in Spain, in northern Spain, with an airport, and the skydiving centre there. And it's physically almost closed off, the marina. You have to make an effort to get out of the town. And we would joke about going to the next town, to Roses perhaps, which is like, I don't know, 1.5 miles away, and we'd say, let's go to Roses for a night out. And we'd say, when? I don't know, in a few months. And we'd plan, and then nobody would go. It was difficult to leave, wasn't it? It was like a rat trap.
It was bizarre. I think I went with you to 2 nights out in Figueres, and that was a big deal. And that was only 20 minutes down the road. That was a big deal. Yeah.
It's amazing how your mentality, gets fixed into one way. What about paramotoring? How did that start?
Paramotoring for me, it started in Dubai. So after Imperia Brava, I worked there 4 years. A lot of the Dubai crew was coming over to Imperia Brava at that time, and I got talking to them. They offered me a job, and I moved to Dubai. And then the rest is history from there. I started paramotoring soon after that. There was equipment in Dubai just lying around. So me and Toogs, at the time, we just picked up the paramotors and kind of self-taught ourselves. And then after that, the school opened. The Ali Hamadi and Joss opened the Sky School. So I started flying every week there, every few weeks. And it actually was a point in my career where I became an instructor, and I worked at the school when I was going through some injuries.
I didn't know that.
Injured my neck. Yeah. So I worked there as a instructor at the school for a good 6 months, and it was great fun. I still love flying now. I have my paramotor back in Scotland. I have a few paramotors here, and that we're gonna launch a project with Alex Ledger in a few months, which is really exciting. So I love it. It just gives you ultimate freedom. It's just, you can fly anywhere. It's incredible.
I want to talk a little bit about, it's painful, it's Jetman. You were with the Jetman project for quite a while, and you became obviously very part of that family. And Vince Raffet, that we all know very well, is not with us anymore from that incredible situation last year. Josh, that must have been devastating for you, man.
Yeah, it's a difficult one, but I just remember it was the most incredible opportunity that I ever had in my life. Incredible team, incredible family, what we accomplished together as a team was just incredible. Still now, I pinch myself, and some of the memories I have of some of the projects gives you goosebumps, you know. And we were all so young. I was 26 years old when they asked me to be the operations manager, and
it's a big job, eh? That was a big job for you.
It was a big job at that age. Yeah, but we just took it in our stride and accepted the challenge. If an opportunity presents, you just always say yes, and fingers crossed it works out. And I think even now, a lot of people that walk around with an ego, or I think for me personally, it's just been about admit that you might not know everything and just give it a go.
Yeah.
And to try, and determination, and sooner or later you'll learn. And Jetman was an amazing example of that, and it catapulted my career from that point. I mean, I've got nothing but thanks and appreciation and love for the full team and the support and everything that happened there. And yeah, it's difficult to talk about, and it's I don't think we're quite ready to talk about it yet. But all I can remember is just incredible memories. I mean, you're playing behind you, the one that you've got, the green and in Burgundy, Zoltan's. Yes. That was our first project. So between all the Jetman crew and the production crew, the filming crew, we all just figured out how to fly Jetman, how to film Jetman, how to promote it. And we had Zoltan flying on our wing, which it was just incredible. I mean, it was incredible times. It would be the highlight of my career. 4 years of just roller coaster emotions and fun. Yeah. It really was spectacular. And like I said, I've got nothing but love for the whole team.
And you travelled quite extensively with the team as well. You were all over Europe and Norway and Spain and many places.
Yeah, we seasonally go to Empuria. We're in Norway. We're in South Africa, Dubai, obviously. Yeah, it was an incredible ride. It really was an incredible few years of our life. I look back with incredible memories, incredible fond memories, and yeah, again, nothing but love for all the team. Yeah, it's difficult to explain. Sure.
Yeah, I wanted to just touch on the subject. I don't think it would do justice to who we are, not to just mention on the way through. But we're nice to have those memories, Josh. I remember Zoltan. One of the first times I met Zoltan. Well, it was actually the second time I met him, and I'd commentated on him the previous year, and I didn't know much about the thing, but I did what research I could. And then he said, "Regan, for today's show, I think it would be a good idea to use some poetry, like a ballad." I said, "Yeah, what for me? Talking? Yeah. He said, when I'm flying, I would like you to make a story regarding me and my wife and how we had our child. And I would like you to make it poetic as I'm flying over." Yeah, no problem. So what does he want me to do? And I just had to kind of make it up on the and here now in the skies, fathership. And it was just the way you riff on things and just make things happen. It was a very pioneering time, the early days of Skydive Dubai and the competition.
It was incredible. If I had $1 for every time I just made something up on the spot, I'd be in a different position than I am now.
I always remember one moment as well. I'm sure you'll remember this, so you don't mind me saying it. But I was commentating on the air show every day that was flying around, and on one particular day, Jetman was doing its thing, and I was, because I knew you and I knew the team very well. I was very proud about talking about the Jetman team, and there was this other guy there, this air show commentator who might even be watching this. But anyway, he came over and he said, "No, I'm doing the commentary on Jetman." I said, "Oh, I thought I was doing it." He said, "No, I'm doing it." And I was like, "Oh." And then you said, "You okay?" I said, "Well, not really, no, because I was looking forward to commentating the Jetman thing." And then this guy said, "I can't do it." You just went, "1 minute." You walked away. And then you came back 30 seconds later and you went, "Oh."
Yeah, it was a funny story. That was a good one. Yeah, sorry to the guy if he's watching. Yeah, that was, you got the angry end of a young, fired up Scotsman.
I'm not too sorry.
Yeah, that was good fun. Incredible memories. I remember that we scripted that, and we made sure that we worked with you hand in hand, because that was what Jetman was about. It was a shared air show. It was an experience. It was pioneering. It was connecting with the audience, and you've done an incredible job to bridge that gap. And the flight suit man came along and tried to ruin it, but you only tried once.
It wasn't his day, was it? No.
No.
So from your days with Jetman to your project now, was this anything in between, or was it directly from that to that?
So after Jetman, I went to X Dubai. X Dubai is the holding company for Jetman also, and Skydive Dubai. Yeah. So I stayed in the sister companies for around 10 years. I went on to work for X Dubai, and they had developed a zip line, the largest zip line in the marina.
Yes.
The largest zip line in an urban environment in the world. Incredible zip line that's 1.2 kilometers right through Dubai Marina. So I worked on that project for a while, helped develop it, and then deliver it and operate it. And it was a great time as well. It was diversifying, learning something new, a new field. I learned about customer flow, operations, customer experience. Yeah. There's so many things you had to learn. But on top of that, we done some projects and activations with Dubai Film, some incredible stunts that X Dubai and Dubai Film are famous for.
Yes.
The projects over the years, looking back, there's some incredible memories.
Some incredible ones, isn't there? The multi-million view videos, which just send up somebody on the phone, sees it there, and it's the work and the effort that's got into it, and the people and the time. Wow. Yeah,
I mean, it was the golden era of Dubai for me, anyway. We had a list of projects, and we just got told which projects were to do, and there was always a challenge, but we always overcame that challenge. And with that type of leadership, developing, and letting us do them crazy, outrageous projects, but trusting us to pull it off safely and trusting us to manage it properly. I mean, incredible leadership. I take my hat off to them. They have an incredible vision. We took a lot of risks, but there weren't risks that were unnecessarily going to put them in jeopardy. It was always the right balance. Yeah. But nowhere else in the world could you do what we done there. Nowhere else.
No. I mean, the first thing that springs to mind is the Princess Tower, the base jump.
Absolutely incredible. I mean, I wasn't involved with that. That was Mr. Alan Gayton, who done an incredible job pulling that off. But just mind blowing. I mean, the cars were driving underneath, so people were base jumping off the tower, and cars were just driving underneath. But absolutely incredible. I managed to go up to witness it, so I watched it, and it was just an incredible moment again in Dubai.
So now with this project you're on, has it got a fixed term, or is it indefinite that you're going to be there?
Like everything across the years, I've just I've took it as it came, and while I'm here, I learn and I try and level up all my skills, as well as having fun, enjoying it. But who knows? I've definitely got another year here. I see. I'm definitely not going anywhere in a rush. COVID's obviously still all over the world, but I'm having fun here. You work hard, and you can play 10 times harder. So it's a good balance in life just now. It's a good balance.
Well, Josh, you are an inspiration to a lot of people, especially a lot of young people who might be starting out, doing their first flights or doing their first paramotors, or even starting to skydive or going wind tunnels. It just shows that there is a life there that can be had if you work hard. It's all there for you, isn't it?
That's it. If an opportunity comes along, grab it and run with it. And if you don't know how to do it, learn bloody quick how to do it.
Yeah, Josh, that's a good place to leave it, I think. It's been absolutely fantastic to catch up with you, mate.
Absolute pleasure, mate. Good to see you.
You take care.
All the best, mate. See ya.